Hey, good morning, good afternoon, whatever time of day you're watching. So, I felt inspired to make a video on value and how we interpret things in life. And, I was just gandering over many ideas, waking up with hardly any sleep. I slept 5 hours last night, and normally I sleep at least 9. 8.5 to 9, but so tomorrow I'll probably sleep 12. I sleep in a lot, which I really love and I enjoy, as long as the temperature is good, which is a whole nother story. But I wanted to talk about value and how our interpretation of it, and I don't know, I just had different thoughts of life. I mean, you wake up sometimes and you feel great and happy, and then other times it's a struggle, and what's the point to live, and where is everything going, where am I going? I mean, daily for me, I don't have really anywhere to go specifically. I kind of just go with my gut instinct. I do have plans, like most people, like I don't want to live in this motorhome like I do. But I guess the way I'm looking at my path, and how I think everyone should, is that, make the very absolute best with what you have, and don't put limitations on it. I think we often, we will do things according to what other people do and how they do it. I look to just maximize my life every day, and it's not always possible, because many days I live in a motorhome currently, but believe it or not, I have dreams just like anyone else, and a lot of it involves money and things of the world that we have to be challenged with. I had a point in time, I had a vision, or I say a vision, but just, I have these epiphanies, or whatever you want to call them, and I'm sure we all do, where we come into a point of clarity and we just see life. But I had a learning lesson, and it was, I was at a fishing dock, and I think it was West Palm Beach area, Fort Lauderdale. I don't really exactly remember. I think I was driving a truck at the time, and so I happened to walk along the pier, the docks where all the charter boats were, and you see all these charter boats coming in with their awesome, amazing fish, like, just makes you hungry looking at them, and all these just huge Mauis, and you've seen them all, like, on the videos and whatnot. But as I'm walking, I see all these fish along the dock, and I'm talking hundreds of them floating in the water, swimming, and these were huge fish. I mean, the smallest one was probably, I don't know, 3 foot long. I mean, they were gigantic. And the truth about that, or not the truth, but the what I've seen in that is, man, you could have your picking right there with a boatload of fish. I mean, either you had a net or a fishing rod or whatever you did, but there were just hundreds of them. And I asked the guy, I was like, oh, what kind of fish are these? And I'm like, why don't people eat them? And he's like, oh, they're full of bones and there's scales. And anyway, okay, so I'm looking at these fish, and they're huge, and anyone could eat a huge meal. I mean, amazing. And the guy's like, yeah, they're basically garbage fish, bottom feeder. And the lesson I saw and learned from this, and I think for everybody, and this is something I've carried with me, that our lives are always going to be given the very lowest. We're going to be given the garbage bottom feeders every day, and it's up to us to decide if we are worth going after those bigger fish. Because look at what the reflection is in comparison to those bottom feeder fish, to going out in these big waters. I mean, they're on the Atlantic. I mean, even on the smallest scale operation, you need a pretty big sized boat, and that's just the beginning, not to mention the gas, the fuel, the danger, even those big waves. The cost factor is just astronomical in comparison to sitting on a dock and spearfishing these bottom feeders, which you could eat very easily. And the lesson we know we have to learn, or that we have, is that it's up to us to go out into those chartered waters. And whether you're a professional and you've done it your whole life, or you're a first time, you know, you're going to be challenged with this awakening, or this path of choice to have the bottom feeders, which you can all have and we can all have. Because there is still, you know, you can eat McDonald's, or you could eat out of the garbage can. You know, there's garbage cans. I mean, there's always something there that's on the low end. And so that's the lesson. And, you know, look at what you can obtain from that there's no guarantee. You're going to take your boat, and I don't know how much you're going to spend in gas, but you're going to go out a mile or two, with, not to mention how much costs in proper gear, radar system, and even then there's no guarantee. So you could go out and fish all day and maybe catch something, but not always. So, you know, we could go aspire to get to the bigger job and the more money and the better relationship, or the perfect relationship, and all these things that we desire. And that is the beauty of life. And coming to that point, it's a beautiful thing, because you are going to see, you will reap the reward of reaching out to that, or going out on that level. And it's really comes down to faith, because you don't know. I mean, the guy with the boat doesn't know if the engines are going to break, if the lines, the fishing lines, or the radar, or the weather, and everything under the sun. It's complete faith. You can call it risk too, maybe, but that may be also a factor. So what is the goal? And that's kind of what I was getting at too. But you know, value is relative to each and every one of us. Like, you know, I live in this motorhome. It's a 1995 motorhome. So when I got this thing, and maybe I can put some pictures in here because I saw in the video, but you know, you can see, and you've seen a lot of my camper, I know, but there's a lot that I put into this. So when I got this thing, and maybe I can put some pictures in here because I saw in the video, but you know, you can see, and you've seen a lot of my camper, I know, but there's a lot that I put into this. And what is the value? I mean, I wake up some days, I mean, sometimes I'm like, man, this thing's worth $100 grand, just because of all the time and energy I put into it. But I talk to most people, and they're like, well, you can maybe get $5 or $6 grand for it, maybe, you know, because it's just a 1995 camper, and that's their evaluation of it. So what is the value? Who makes that value? And it really comes down to that we're perfect beings created, and all of us are perfect in God creating us, that we're perfect in His image. So what is our particular value? This camper, yeah, if I just didn't put anything into it of my own, but I feel maybe I'll put value into it that someone else will see. And that may just be, you know, 1% of 10,000 people that would even remotely think of paying more, because I do want to sell this eventually, though that's the goal. And but I spent a lot of time working on this thing. Here's my switch, turns the lights on, and I got my amps, which I put this on right here, and then lights on, and I got my amps, which I put this on right here, and that all lights up. You know, it's been thousands of hours of work. And why do I do it? I mean, I not necessarily counting on making money, but I know it's worth something. But hey, it could burn down tomorrow. I could maybe not wire something right and wake up, the whole thing's burned down. But hopefully that don't happen. But I'm just saying, value is really dependent upon ourselves, what we see, in ourselves. And but belief is a huge thing, because believing you can do something. But really the value is, and this was kind of a video about being happy. And am I happy? I'm happy when I'm deciding to be happy, just like all of us. It's like, why did you just feel happy? And really the key thing to learning happiness or unhappiness is that it's expectations. If you have no expectations, you can't not live in the moment, because being happy is a thought, right? So when you are happy, whether you're consciously thinking of it or not, you have hopes for it. Could be as simple as you're going to go eat some pizza, or you're going to go see a friend, or you got something in the mail, money, you met somebody, you got an opportunity, or you just started feeling confident for no reason whatsoever, or you're just happy to be alive. There's many ways to look at it, but ultimately happiness is a thought. So, and the expectations are thoughts. So the same is reflective to the negative thinking. You're just thinking, oh, it's hopeless or it's bad, and you're believing in these expectations. So the true key to happiness, that I was watching this guy named Noah Elkreef, he's really saved me out of a deep, dark depression. I mean, I'm more Christian, and he's not really Christian based, but he is God based and spiritual. I think he might be Christian, I don't know. But he has the #1 selling self-help book on Amazon. And that wasn't like the key to my happiness, but he gave me a tool to rationalize what happiness is. And if you think about it, whether you're happy or unhappy, it's just a thought that makes that. I mean, we can think that, oh, I got money. Well, what is it? It's paper. You got paper in your hand. It's really, is it worth value? Or, hey, I have this or I have that. Everything's perspective. So, but to dial into that, it's the present moment that we are. There is no necessarily happy or unhappy. You just are. We just be. So think about it right now. If you're sad for any reason, what is truly why you're sad? Because you're thinking of something, whether it's 1 second into the future, believing something is going to be this certain way, expectation, or something in the past that happened that you expect, maybe a continue. But it's jumping from future to past that our minds are. I mean, how much time do you spend thinking about all the stuff that's going on in your head? Where is it? Can you touch it? The only thing real is when you can feel and touch. And being in the present and not having expectations allows God to really work in your life, because now you are, I wouldn't say floating, but you are, I want to say drifting, I meant, but you are able to be the most workable for the Lord. And maybe some people are on different spiritual paths and different levels, but being in the present, you have a control to some degree, and there's a peace there, because there is no, thoughts are just simply not real. And as Noah will say, think of a house, think of a really big house, or close your eyes and think of a really big house, he'll say. And, imagine it with a fence and like the perfect house. Now open your eyes, where's the house? Does it exist? No. Is it there? No. Is it real? No. Embrace going out into the world, and there's nothing wrong with thinking into the future as far as goals, but having a verbatim, like it needs to be like this expectation and this expectation. When I go and become a lawyer, oh, I'm going to be this and it's going to be that. You can't do that, because you're just going to be disappointed. You may be overly excited because, I don't know, you pass a test, but then you fail the other one. So it's all just like this roller coaster of emotion, which, you know, you can dial that back and really experience life, which is right now. When you're thinking of out there, past or future, even 1 second to the future of the past, you are cheating your life in a way, if you think about it. The thing I believe in is just have a goal. Like my goal, if anyone cares, it doesn't matter, but you know, I have a lot of goals. I mean, I don't try to say money, because I don't need money, and I don't think any of us need money to get the goal. We can still get the goal, but it's a falsehood to believe that the money is how we get the goal. It's just going after the goal and staying focused. So my goal is simply, and I learn myself, and we learn ourselves too, like how we function and how we operate. But I'm a single thinker. Like I was really did well in sales. No, I shouldn't say that. I did very well in a particular type of sales. For instance, I worked at a car dealership, and you got hundreds of different cars, new, some, I think we did new and used, mostly new. But there's maybe 20 different models, and every of all those 20 different models, there's probably 5 different, you know, the QRXT and the QRX4 and the different high, you got all these different models, which then you have all these different options and buttons and seats that kind of move. And okay, so this guy's got a really old truck. It's funny because people probably, when they see me start up my truck, he's not happy. I didn't sell one car. I was there for like a month every day, 8-10 hours a day, and I just couldn't sell one dang car, because there was just so much to, I didn't know how to sell 500 different things, because it's just how I work. But when I got into selling hurricane impact windows, it was one window. Like literally, we went into the house, I went into people's houses, and sorry, my nose is itching, I apologize. I'm gonna edit it out. Okay, so I had one window, and it was a gorgeous window, and not to mention the way this guy, he was like a evil genius, but very smart guy, made millions of dollars. But he put together.
Are you guys van lifers?
Not really, or why?
No, you know what? I was thinking about doing that.
See, I'm like totally editing now. I mean, I already know it. I'm just like, okay, so then I got into selling hurricane impact windows, and the guy was a genius. Why in the sale, and this is just sales, but you know, he created the environment for the best and most unique window. So he found a beautiful window that was the most, just, of course when you're selling, it's like, oh, it's the best. But see, I am only in that mindset. It's like either it's the full thing and it has everything, it does what I need, or it's just like, well, here, would you like the mid model? Well, you don't want the car with the foldable seats. Well, how about you can't afford that? Let's get the lower one. Like, I'm all about just saying 100% this is the best. If you want it or not, it's all about the price. Can you afford it? And that's all we really sold, was the price. So, you know, I came in, ironically, I didn't sell my first 3, and I wasn't surprised, because I was just never sold anything. And then all of a sudden, boom, I was like number 1 in the company for like a good 4 months. And I made a crap ton of money that I just totally blew, and went to, like, I had nothing left after I got done. I went and bought a brand new Cadillac. I didn't buy it, I financed a brand new Cadillac XTS. All the bells and whistles. Guess what my interest rate was? 24%. my car payment was like almost $800, but I didn't care because I was killing it. And anyway, that was just me particularly dialing into my ability. We all have abilities, and if you don't have the ability, it's like maybe it's just not the right way you're going. But no, I did very well, and I made so much money I didn't know what to do with it. But that was because I guess I stuck with it. I don't know, but it was my forte to learn that particular type of sale. So that's what got me to talking about my camper. It's like I needed something solo, singular. It's like I wake up, camper. I mean, I live, breathe, and sleep camper. Like I'll sit for all day long, literally, and just think in my head, how am I going to put this stereo system in? And how is it going to work with the solar? And I mean, I'm a self-taught everything, electrician, whatever, but if I'm not 100% positive about something, I will trial and error it in a safe environment and then implement it, or I will learn and ask questions. I'll call a bunch of people from who knows what, AutoZone, or I'll call mechanic shops or just electrical people. I just dive into what I need to learn. And so I can, and the number one thing is and this is a key too, is always go after the worst thing first. Like, there was a mechanic guy, and I forgot what his saying was, but just go after it. Because it's always that thing in the back of your mind, there you go thinking again, that is the most terrifying or most limiting thing, because yeah, you're getting there, but you have this huge thing over here that you're just like, don't want to face. That's the first thing you go after. And so like when I do my things here, I'm like, okay, what is my fear? And it's ultimately facing your fears, because really it's just a thought. Because a lot of times it just works out, and you know that. It's just putting yourself in that position to go towards the fear first. And then, man, everything just kind of, once you take care of that thing over there, everything else just smooth. So that's just another epiphany. Likely. I mean, I don't really make any money right now. I'm trying to figure out, like, if I have to get a job now and I have to, it's just life. But I don't necessarily want to do that. Maybe something will come to me. I don't know. But ideally, I have this idea to buy and sell this thing. And I have a couple businesses I'd like to build. I still want to have a family. I still want to get married and have a bunch of kids. So I have to stay super duper healthy and keep all my teeth. And I don't have to do anything really, but I have a goal. And my goal is, don't listen to anybody, because everyone will, especially people you care about, if you have this wild vision of you want to start a business. Well, look at the fish story. You can charter your own boat, but it's going to take planning and faith, and embrace the struggle, man. Really, what it comes down to with the chicken and the egg and survival, and with all this stuff going on with COVID, I mean, literally fear inhibits your growth and your stamina. When you have confidence, think about how God is so amazing and how He put us into when you generate things in your body to get over things. So if you're confident and you are forward thinking and you're going after those fearful things, you don't think it's the same with like disease and sickness? When was the last time you saw someone in a wheelchair and they just look like they just got ran over by a truck, and they got their mask on and they're all like, they look like they're just about to fall over and die. It wasn't COVID, it was their mental attitude. Because believe it or not, whether you're horny, you're angry, you're whatever state of mind you're in a generating, your body generates. So when you're in that frame of mind, like when I say horny, it's like you build these I don't know, when you generate that rush when you're excitable and horny. Whatever, I just say that because it's an emotion. When you're angry, you build testosterone and you build adrenaline. mostly adrenaline. You don't think adrenaline would kill off a cold or flu or even like some crazy disease? Because your body and your mind is like, all right, we're dominating this, it's done, we're not even worried about it. So what do you think happens when people are like, fear, mask off? And there's another phenomenal, life-changing, it was a revelation for me, it's called Where Mind and Matter Meet by Bruce Lipton. It changed my life. It was one of my I had 3 revelations in life. Literally, one was Noah Elkrief, who I mentioned, who brought the mindset. And believe me, every day I wake up when I feel depressed, whatever, sometimes you forget about these key things that God ultimately writes. But the Word of God is printed, and it's now, and it's omnipresent. But ultimately, the key to happiness and perfection and living in who you are is right now. And Noah opened that up to me. And I wake up almost daily and I feel, I wouldn't say depressed, but I fight it. And it's like, you start thinking, and ultimately stop thinking, really, is the goal. But you have goals, but stop thinking about, well, what if this and what if, you don't know when you go out into the water, I don't know, the boat could sink and you die. But you know what? We're going after the fish. So do the best you can, and if you have a business or whatever you want to do, you want to go talk to somebody, or you want to go out of your complacency, because complacency is death. When you just stay where you're at, you are becoming a swamp. It's another visual that I always use, is you could be that raging water. Look at the most healthy waters. It's those raging waters going through rocks, and there's the steam and the rainbows, and it's just fish, and it's just a rush of adrenaline. And that is our bodies. Our bodies is no different than the earth. And all this COVID stuff is just for whatever it is, call it whatever you want, but it is nothing as far as overcoming whatever it is out there, because you will overcome. Your body is designed to do that. Otherwise, like I said, you wouldn't get these endorphins, and it's your mind secretes anything you need. And when you are in that mindset, and you can't tell me when you're in that confident mindset that you can just take on whatever. But embrace the struggle, and here he comes. Here he comes. He's not happy. Okay, so as far as value and being happy, my 3 revelations, I'm sorry, I forgot. Noah Elkrief, to live in the present moment, because you are free from the torment. But like that guy, maybe he's a road rager. Why is he so raging? Because he has fears that he's going to lose or something bad. He's got something in his mind, because what's there to be raging about when you're just in a car and looking at birds or whatever you're doing? There's nothing to rage if you're in the present moment, right? Oh, my hand is like, oh, my damn freaking, look at this. Oh, freaking paint. Like, I don't know. It's like there's nothing to be angry at if you're in the present. You fabricate these stories and you believe them. And a lot of times you go down that path. So it can be good or bad, but the most liberating thing is just to be yourself and pick your goals and go through prayer to get there the wisest way. How do I get out into the open waters and get the big fish safely and return home? And that's ultimately what you want to do, is your goal. And the 3 revelations, like I said, Noah Elkrief, just bringing your mind into that present moment. And I forget about this all the time. I wake up all the time feeling like I live in a camper, and I don't know, like I said, some days this thing seems like it's like not worth it, and I'm driven on my goals, so I'm not going to give up, so I know I'm not, but it's like, I've been sitting at Home Depot all day. I can't say I'd rather be anywhere else, because I'm in Florida and I'm not having to do anything because I got a little money saved, but it's complacent right now. to some degree. And maybe that's kind of why I'm venturing into this YouTube thing, to maybe help others to connect, because I love talking to people, certain people. I mean, not certain people, just whoever. You know, you just, why do you think I go to the bars and stuff like that? Because I like engaging, but yet I really respect, or I really protect my freedom, or I want it. The second was just becoming Christian. I shouldn't say second in that order. First was I became Christian, and then Bruce Lipton, Where Mind and Matter Meet. It was genius in his mindset of fear and love. If you're in fear, which all these people that are like this on this COVID trip, it's like crippling. And fear, you could be afraid to walk out your door because have you ever just laid in bed thinking, wow, an airplane could totally just crash into my house and we could all burn up, or someone could break in, or I could get poisoned by drinking the tap water, or maybe, it's endless torment that you can go into. And your body, and this is why this was so profound, this Bruce Lipton, and I encourage you to watch it because it was like life-changing for me, extremely, because it brought me into a reality that our perception and our beliefs literally fabricate reality for us. And so you have more control over that in the present, because you don't have to work as hard to believe something if it's happening. Like there's a car, I don't have to fight it. It's there. You know, in your mind, you're battling things, wishing for the best and hoping for this, and it's so freeing to just stay in the present. And I don't always do this. I mean, I'm human just like everyone else. And I start thinking maybe just something to add to my camper, and then I can't afford it, and then you start getting into that future, I don't know if I'm gonna, what's gonna happen mode. But that's life, and but it's like, embrace it in some form. But anyway, back to Bruce Lipton and the perception and this health thing. I mean, it's literally like, becomes a reality, your beliefs and your perceptions, and it shows fear will kill you. And that's literally what is causing everything that's happening. It's just a mind of fear. And fear can be spread, but like I said, you can choose your own path. And you don't have to live in the camper that everyone else has. You don't have to go to the job and be just like everyone else. And everyone at that job, they're like this and they're like that. Well, maybe go to the job and change it. Be open, as long as you're doing something that's within the parameters, of what's, in their, let's say you got to wear a uniform or something, doesn't mean you can't, decorate something, or just, you could do whatever you want if you really don't fear. And even if it's something outside of the parameters, really it's just not fitting in or whatever. But you know what? You're a unique person. You are who you are, and you're already unique. But it seems like the world just wants to give you those fish and that just generic bottom feeder. And it's not life that's giving it to you, but it's a learning lesson, and it's like a gift to have the potential to be alive, to choose to go out into the uncharted waters. Because when you do catch that big fish, or you accomplish your goal, no one really helped you do it, because you had the option, just like everyone else, to feed off the bottom feeders. You could have done it, and we all have. But at what point in time do you decide, you know what, I'm gonna just go for the bigger fish? I want the big fish. I deserve it. Or even just venture out a little bit. Maybe go on the dock. And there's levels that you can get with that. But anyway, so that was it. I just had this urge to maybe not call. I slept 5 hours because I was up late last night. I didn't have a party, but I pulled up in front of the bar and I played music. And then I was like, all right, I'm going to go inside. Went inside, and typically I'm looking for someone I can connect with. And the bartender was a nice guy. He was kind of like happy-go-lucky, and I didn't really talk to them that much, but well, I did actually talk to these two guys that are pilots. They just flew in from Dallas, and they fly like a commercial, small jet airliner, not commercial but private. And I chatted with them, and they were cool. So anyway, I just went back to my camper, and without my AC right now because I need to get a generator. What am I gonna do? Anyway, so hope your day is going good, and I'm just thought I'd try a video for you, and I'm gonna try to edit this and see, and maybe you'll like it. But anyway, I love and appreciate you watching, and I think that's it. So yeah, all those things were just on my mind, and I just wanted to share it with you. So love you, appreciate you watching, and I don't know, if you want to comment, just do it. And just dial into what your gift is. Like I said, the sales thing for me. Am I going to go back? I mean, we're always selling. I don't care what you're doing. When you clean your car, you're selling an image. Hey, I'm a clean person. Or, I mean, you don't have to be that way, but to be prosperous, whether you're painting something or you're whatever you're doing, you're selling that in some form. It may not like consciously be selling, but you're selling you, and you're selling your personality, and you're selling what you're giving. Maybe it's not selling, but you are giving off an energy and you're giving something to the world. So you can be an example in your own path and expound on your gifts, because we all have gifts, and your gift, you may be really good at something, you just haven't found it yet because you didn't go out into the open waters. And that's what I was thinking of. So anyway, love and appreciate you, and I'll be posting another video later, probably. All right, bye-bye. I'm nice.